Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel and to my first TBR of 2025. So I've actually already filmed this video once and I don't know what the issue was, but there was some sound problems, so fingers crossed that's sorted out and this one's going to go ahead without a hitch. I've set myself a usual TBR. Well, it's kind of not quite the usual TBR. I would say that would be 4 books, 2 audio and 2 physical or digital, but I've actually got 5 on my January plan for 2025 because I've got 2 that I'm not sure about. I've got 2 that I'm going to pick and choose depending on how much time I've got, because they are both arcs, both are due out in February, and they're both of very different lengths. So I'll see where I go, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to fit both of them in. But I've got 3 February releases on my list in total, 1 buddy read and another book that's on my 2025 reading plan. So hopefully I'm going to kick off 2025 with some really good reads. I'm going to start off with the same as last year. I'm pretty sure in January last year I read an Adrian Tchaikovsky arc that was coming out in February. That was Alien Clay. This year it's going to be Shroud, and I've got this lovely all in black, very atmospheric paperback review copy because this is kind of what Shroud is. It's a very dark planet. I started reading this a night or 2 ago actually because I finished on my December read, so I can definitely see why they've got this very black cover. This one says they looked into darkness, the darkness looked back. What lurks in the dark? A commercial expedition to a distant star system uncovers a moon that is pitch black, but alive with radioactivity and unknown life forms. Its high gravity, high pressure, zero oxygen environment is deadly to human life, but ripe for exploitation. They named it Shroud. Under no circumstances can a human survive Shroud's inhospitable surface, but a catastrophic accident forces Juna Sealander and my Saint-Etienne to make a landing in a barely adequate escape vehicle. Alone and fighting to survive, the 2 women embark on a grueling journey across land, sea and air in search of salvation. As they travel, Juna and Mai begin to understand Shroud's extraordinary alien species. It also begins to understand them. So this does have kind of quite similar vibes actually in that synopsis to Alien Clay. It's something that Adrian Tchaikovsky does really, really well. I'm looking forward to getting deep into this book, and I kind of know what to expect because I've read quite a lot of his books now, and yeah, as I say, it's right in his wheelhouse, so I'm looking for a good time with this one. That's the only physical copy that I do have, so I've got to rely on Goodreads for some synopses for the rest of the books that I've got on my January plan. The first of these is a buddy read. This one is Orconomics by J. Zachary Pike. It's book 1 of the series. I can't remember the name of, the Dark Prophet Saga. There we go. It's got quite a long synopsis on Goodreads, so I'm not going to read all of it because there's too much. But professional heroes kill and loot deadly monsters every day, but Gormingerson's latest quest will be anything but business as usual. A dwarven ex-hero with a checkered past, he has no idea what he's getting into when he stands up for an undocumented goblin. His act of kindness starts a series of events that ends with Gorm recruited by a prophet of a mad goddess Almatra to fulfill a prophecy so crazy that even the Almatran temple doesn't believe it. But there's more to Gorm's new job than an insane prophecy. Powerful corporations and governments, usually indifferent to the affairs of the derelict Almatran temple, have shown an interest in the quest. If his party of eccentric misfits can stop fighting each other long enough to recover the elven marbles, Gorm might be able to turn a bad deal into a golden opportunity and win back the fame and fortune he lost so long ago. So this one is kind of a satire. It's got quite a bit of humour in it. I've not read much about it, but I do have quite a lot of friends actually who've read this and really enjoyed it, and hopefully it's going to work well for me. It is, as I say, a buddy read. My friend Terry just randomly asked me a month or 2 ago if I fancied reading this one, and I said, yeah, what the heck. So it's been on my Kindle for so long. It's literally years that it's been sitting there untouched. So a few of us are going to buddy read this one on my Discord. The link's down below if you would like to join us for that or any other buddy read or book discussion purposes. The next book I'm going to read, this is, well, I'm going to do Orconomics as an audiobook. This is another audiobook, and it's one off my 2025 reading plan. It's by Kate Elliott, and it's called King's Dragon. It's book 1 of Crown of Stars. Now, I've read quite a few Kate Elliott's. I've done sci-fi and fantasy from her, but this is probably her biggest series. I think is it 7 pretty big chunky books in total. But I've not touched it, I've not really looked at it, even though I've got a couple of friends who really, really love this series. So I'm going to find out what it's all about in January. The kingdom of Wendor is in turmoil. King Henry still holds the crown, but his reign has been long contested by his sister Sibella, and there are many eager to flock to her banner. Internal conflict weakens Wendor's defences, drawing raiders, human and inhuman, across its borders. Terrifying portents abound, and dark spirits walk the land in broad daylight. Suddenly, 2 innocents are thrust into the midst of the conflict. Alan, a young man granted a vision by the Lady of Battles, and Liath, a young woman with the power to change the course of history. Both must discover the truth about themselves before they can accept their fates. For in a war where sorcery, not swords, may determine the final outcome, the price of failure may be more than their lives. So that works for me. It doesn't give too much information. It doesn't delve into the minutiae of the plot itself. I like that from a synopsis. It gives me enough to hook me and to make me want to read it. And yeah, hopefully the book as a whole is one that's going to work for me. So the next 2 I've got are 2 review copies. As I said, I wasn't really sure which of these to go for because they're both released in February. They're both authors that are brand new to me. I don't know anything about them whatsoever. I think they are both relatively short as well, so that might sway my decision when I come to decide which one to pick up towards the end of the month. But the first one is Chorus of Thieves by J.B. Corvin. This is book 1 of Erden Song, and it's one that comes out on the 10th of February. The synopsis isn't very long, so I'll just rush through it quickly. Melody and Enric are mercenaries at the tail end of a job. When they're offered a chance at a score in the dazzling coastal city of Tomasa that promises riches and revenge, they do not hesitate. But what they'll find in the city is worth far more than gold or vindication, and it could lead to dangers beyond their wildest dreams. So I did ask the author for a bit more information. I didn't get too much, but it's about a couple of mercenaries, a couple of killers who become friends over the course of a job. And it says here that it's action-packed with friendship at its heart. The writing style is apparently based on or inspired by classics like Robert E. Howard's Conan, but with a modern writing style. And that's something that I usually go for. It usually works well for me, as long as it is done well. So is this one done well? I will find out, hopefully, next month. And then the last one, this one is a shorter one, I believe, so this might be the one that I decide to go for. It's by Stephen Raymakers. It comes out on the 2nd of February, and it's called Blade of the Wanderer, book 1 of Scars of Magic. Now this one is slightly different because it is chronological short stories. So when I spoke to the author, I said it sounded a bit like the Chronicles of a Black Company by Glenn Cook, in that it's a series of individual stories, events in the history, in that case, of the Black Company, without the bits that go between, the bits that link them between the individual stories. And that does sound like, from the response I got, that's what I get here. It's the chronological short stories of Astera Stake, I do apologise, Tract Walker, Mercenary, Exile. When the stars fell, the world died. Magic claimed Astera's arm when she was a child. For her curse, she was exiled into the weird, pockmarked space of Verpace. The magic eats away at her, twisting her bones and psyche to its own will, the curse spreading with each use. Now an adult, she wanders the world as a tract walker, making her living through hunting, mercenary work, and whatever opportunities arise. It's a dangerous life. Deranged cultists cry out to the red dwarf sun. Deformed beasts prowl in every shadow. Creatures born from myth lurk in broken temples, and every night brings the threat of the lethal Lichtfarlan. Yet some greater danger seems to lurk on the horizon, and there are whispers in the dark. Will Astera survive, or will she succumb to the incessant call of the magic? So this one, it says that it's a post-apocalyptic sword and sorcery series overflowing with horror, mystery, magic and action. So there's a lot to go for there. I don't normally do post-apoc, but hopefully this is one that could work for me. As I say, I do believe this one is quite short. There's no page count listed that I could find on Goodreads or Amazon, so I'll find out how long it is again, hopefully in January. So there we go anyway, a quick run through the books that I'm planning to read in January to kick off 2025. What are you looking forward to in your own reading plans? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll hopefully see you in the next video sometime soon. Until then, though, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.